Today we take a look at the Canon EOS 1300d, aka Canon Rebel T6 as known in the States. Is it good for vlogging or for a YouTube channel, especially as a beginner?
Some of you may be having a deja vu right now. So yes, this is in fact an improved, shortened re-upload of a 2017 video, as the previous one was unnecessarily longer than it needed, but more importantly, it dragged on before getting to the main point at 5 minutes and 42 seconds. So a very late apology and more details in the next video. Check out the link below and the card above.
Want to find out more? Roll the intro. Hey HealMyTechs, welcome. This is Ash from HealMyTech, helping you go from newbie to techie. If your interest is in photography rather than videography, then I can definitely recommend this Canon EOS 1300d or Rebel T6 for any beginner photographer. And you can completely ignore this video tutorial as it will not be applicable to you. But if you want to stay and find out about videography in terms of this camera, then feel free to stay. Okay, now here are the four main features which are lacking in this camera, which in my opinion makes it a not suitable camera for a vlogging or YouTube channel. Feature number one, the lack of an articulated or flip out screen. Now this screen here is a fixed screen. It also doesn't have a touch screen function, but that's not a problem for me. The ability to see yourself or to see the subject you're recording, especially as a one-man crew, is prime. So many times when I was filming, I was out of frame, or the subject was out of frame, or there was a problem with the focus, or the exposure, or the lighting, and I wasn't aware of that until I saw the footage afterwards, and I had to do so many reshoots just because of that. Complete waste of time. Even to start a video, to place yourself in front of the camera and the proper framing and the proper height and the proper distance and the focus is a pain in the butt. Okay, if you do have a camera person behind it, that may not be a problem. Or if you are able to set the camera and the tripod in a fixed position and you can set yourself in a fixed permanent marked position, then you only have to set the settings once and forget about it, you're done. However, if you do need to relocate yourself or the subject, or you need to move the camera, then you're in for a headache. And vlogging, especially on the go, is out of the question. There are other ways to see yourself while you're recording, like you can connect the camera to an external monitor. And in this case, you have a mini HDMI port here, and you can use a mini HDMI to HDMI cable and connect it to an external monitor, like maybe a 10-inch external monitor which can mount on top of here with a horseshoe mount, or you can mount it on the tripod somehow, like on a frame for a camera. There are many ways. Apart from that, there are also other ways that you can actually see yourself without an external monitor, but connecting through a computer, etc. So if you guys want to know how to see yourself or focus on yourself if you're a one-man crew, then let me know in the comments below and I'm going to do a tutorial on that. The second feature that's lacking is the autofocus during video recording. You can manually focus during video. If you're filming yourself, there is a button you can switch from autofocus to manual focus. So if you're filming yourself, you will constantly need to readjust, go to the camera. And if you have a camera person, they will have to constantly need to readjust when you're focusing on specific subjects. It will be easier if you have a camera person, but it's going to be a pain in the butt either way, especially if you're a one-man crew. The third feature which is lacking, in my opinion, is a mic input for an external microphone. Sure, there is an internal mic, but like with most DSLR cams or most other types of cameras, the onboard microphone and the audio quality you get from there absolutely sucks. Of course, it's best practice to record your audio separately and then you can sync it in post using the onboard mic of the camera. You can record from an external recorder like this Zoom H1 recorder, and you can use an external mic like this Boya BY-M1 microphone, and that's going to give you a lot more clean and professional audio. However, there are occasions when you're going to have a deadline and you continue to film, edit and upload a video as an emergency, and if there's an input mic on a camera like this, you can actually use an external microphone and you will be able to film something very quickly and upload it without doing any post editing to anything, and it will be acceptable quality. And number four, last but not least, is the lack of long or continuous video shooting. What I mean is this: after about 12 minutes, this camera shuts off and you can restart it. And I'm told it's because of the heat or overheating. At 1080p recording at 30 fps, I get about 12 minutes or so video recording, and then it just shuts down. Now, there is also an issue with the type of SD card you use. Currently, I'm using a SanDisk SD card class 10 at 80 Mbps. If you use any other type of lower class card or the transfer rate is less, you may have an issue, because initially I was using a card, I wasn't aware of the full features or specifications. I was getting only about 1 minute of footage and I didn't know the reasons for it. When I looked it up, turns out you do need to use a card with higher transfer rates. Now, I'm not well informed enough to be able to tell you exactly what type of SD card you need to look for your specific camera, so please do some research. Now, you might think it's not too bad. If you get about 12 minutes of video footage, then you could time yourself, maybe, like blocks of 10 minutes, and then manually stop it and then start again. Well, in theory, you'd be correct, but in practice, you'd be a fool. Unless there is a technique that I'm not aware of, please feel free to school me. So these were the 4 main features lacking in this camera, which makes it not a suitable camera for vlogging or for a starter YouTube channel. Although this Canon EOS 1300d has very good recording video abilities at 1080p, it does lack some features which makes vlogging and running a YouTube channel a lot more difficult than it needs to be, especially as a one-person crew. You will get the job done, but you will be working hard rather than smart. On the topic of video, this is capable of 1080p at 30 fps Full HD recording. You can get 720p 60 fps, but if you're looking for above 1080p like 4K or above 30 fps like 60 fps and above, then you should be looking elsewhere. While you don't need a DSLR for vlogging or for YouTube, there are cheaper and easier options out there. Any camera in the hands of a skilled professional will produce excellent quality footage, whether it's a picture or a video. Saying that, I am going to hopefully include some pictures which I took early on as an amateur, mainly on auto function. And the first one is going to be a kind of flat, dull picture of my back garden. However, when I went up close and personal, there was a completely different picture painted with a unique story in each picture. Enjoy. So I bought this exactly 1 year ago in September 2016 from Amazon for about £300 or $400, including the kit lens. That was bought as an emergency because the next day I was actually traveling abroad. So I thought I would get a camera as I was already looking into DSLR and I would learn to use it while I was abroad. Unfortunately, because of the emergency, I bought it under misinformation and lack of proper research. The reason I was looking to DSLR was as an upgrade from my iPhone that I was using for my YouTube channel. But when I went there abroad, I did not get a chance to learn and use the camera, and when I came back to UK, it was so overwhelming, including we had this family health issue, so I left it aside and continued to use my iPhone 5 and webcam for most of the tutorials up until recently. And lastly, even if you had a camera person, I would still not recommend this 1300D. And I think the reasons should be pretty obvious if you've watched this video till now. But think in terms of, let's say your camera person was not available, or they were available, but they could actually just set you up. And because you would have a different camera with autofocus for video recording and the ability to see yourself and longer continuous shooting, then you would be able to carry on the filming and they could be doing something else and you would be independent of them. And that would be very helpful in terms of time management. So you should really look for a camera, any make, any model that's got these features as a minimum, the ones we've talked about in the video, and call it a day. In conclusion, this Canon EOS 1300d or Rebel T6 is an excellent entry-level photography camera that I would recommend if you're considering doing photography as an amateur. Although it has a decent 1080p video recording, it has all these limitations which we talked about, i.e. no ability to see yourself, the lack of video autofocus during shooting, no external mic input, and it shuts off after about 12 minutes of recording. And those make this camera not suitable for vlogging or for a YouTube channel. Please look for a camera that's got these features in any other make and model. This is my opinion. I bought this from my own money and I'm not being sponsored by Canon or by anyone else. I've actually recently bought another camera which I'm using to film this episode. That's what I'm filming on. The choice I went for might actually surprise you. If you want a guide on which camera to start with as a first-time YouTuber or vlogger, especially if you're considering a DSLR, then let me know in the comment section below. I will do a tutorial on what I would recommend as a first camera. That's the end of today's video. Any affiliate link to sites like Amazon or eBay is clearly identified, and if you click them and follow through with the purchase, it will not cost you anything extra and you will help the channel with a small kickback, so it's a win-win for everyone. One more thing, if you want to ask a question, please be as specific as possible, including all the relevant details. You can check out this video which I did called The Art of Asking the Wrong Question, where I address this very common problem so we can help each other out without getting frustrated and wasting time. That's it for today, folks. Like, dislike, share this vid and comment below. And if you found the content helpful, consider subscribing to help the channel and keep you notified of future videos. Once again, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for watching. This was Ash from HealMyTech, helping you go from newbie to techie. Until next time, peace out.